BlackRock Bitcoin ETF rejection conspiracy. We're actually going to start with a tweet from Alex Jones. Shout out to Alex Jones. So he tweeted right here, and let's see the time frame he tweeted it. On January 5th at 10:03 a.m. this morning, just a couple hours ago, BlackRock is the conductor controlling over 85% of planetary wealth. 99% of the Fortune 500 take direct orders from BlackRock. Larry Fink openly brags about how he controls our behavior through the ESG regime. Their public goal is a 90% reduction in population. Men like Fink and Gates must be exposed. It's time to take our power back. The lockdowns, the poison shots, the open borders, the new wars, the attacks on the family, it all comes from this death cult. The parasite class has stolen the world and now wants most of us dead. They are coming for all of us. This is total war. So there you have it. Now, Jones, I think there was another tweet here. People ask me how I'm able to predict what is coming decades ahead of time. I don't have a crystal ball. I study the globalists' own documents. The World Economic Forum and BlackRock battle plan is public. It's all taking place in full view. The end game is 90% population reduction, AKA, what's the term we use for that? Population control, eugenesis, right? Eugenics. But first, they must smash the West, resist or die. So there you go. Now, Max recently tweeted yesterday, source, a delay in Bitcoin ETF listing connected to coordination with possible anti-self custody laws. And a couple of weeks ago, he dropped the bomb. In 40 years of finance, I have never seen such coordination and cooperation by so many financial institutions working hand in glove with the regulators and politicians as I'm seeing with the coming wave of Bitcoin ETFs. I think we may be in for an unwelcome surprise. And he elaborates, seems like all these Bitcoin ETFs have agreed to cash in, cash out. Investors will track the price, but have no claim on actual BTC, a fiat money version of Bitcoin. Simultaneously, Washington is apparently looking to ban self-custody. If this is true, it's exceptional due to the size of the highly coordinated bait and switch by Wall Street and Washington. The best way to beat this move is to move to Bitcoin country, El Salvador. And a quick shout out to Lee. I appreciate the super. And a shout out to the real Gary Gensler. Lee wrote, yo, CNA, what's happening? Quick update. Coinbase just verified Jesus coin and that it meets listing criteria. Just saying. God bless Lee. And the real Gary Gensler wrote, Alex Jones, as trash as it gets. January 10th, baby. Gary Gensler. Gary is always a hoot here on the channel. So thank you for sharing, Gary, and I appreciate those supers. But back to our breaking news. So continuing on with where I left off. Max also wrote, the timing of this is also very interesting. A conspiracy theorist might say the 69,370 BTC are now a key part of the collateral backing these ETF rollouts. The government and proxies get the benefit of the price appreciation on their actual Bitcoin as billions flow into the new fake Bitcoin ETFs. And this was off the back of the news that Gaber Gerbach shared. U.S. Appeals Court approved the forfeiture of 69,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Road case. People are speculating if and when the U.S. government would sell the coins. I wonder why one that can just print money would sell hard assets. Just a thought. What are your thoughts on that? Please do let me know. And adding to that, he also wrote GBTC has approximately 600,000 BTC. The deal with the government to get the ETF approval via the SEC and Gensler. And remember, Barry Silbert has been caught engaging in accounting irregularities, so needs a friend in the Department of Justice. It is to make those Bitcoin easily available to the government in certain circumstances, like an economic emergency. That is 100% already baked into the cake. So let me know your thoughts on some of these. And I'm actually going to be reading you this story here with the headline. Spot Bitcoin ETF capital. Could the funds potentially buy up all the Bitcoin in circulation? Now, also keep in mind, we have Mr. Michael Saylor. Him and his company control roughly 1% of the Bitcoin supply with roughly 200,000 Bitcoin. And his goal is to own 5% of the circulating Bitcoin supply, which means he's looking to accumulate another million BTC. But anyways, the long-awaited potential approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF in the US could mean the market sees Bitcoin supply suddenly drop as funds snap up as much as they can, or funds. Some market observers have predicted, with prominent firms like Ernst & Young expecting the US SEC approval to trigger massive demand from the institutions. Will the financial giants behind these ETFs leave any actual Bitcoin on the market? For the rest of us, now a US-based spot Bitcoin ETF could bring up to $30 billion worth of fresh cash into Bitcoin, according to Lark Davis, who estimated in September of 2023. In such a scenario, spot Bitcoin ETF issuers would buy up about 50% of all the Bitcoin on the crypto exchanges to back their ETFs, is what he projected. Quoting him here, estimates are that a spot Bitcoin ETF would bring 20 to 30 billion of fresh cash into Bitcoin. They would buy about half of all the coins on the exchanges at the current prices. For reference, here's what happened to the gold when it first got its ETF approved in the US markets, as you can see here in that chart. But buying as much Bitcoin as possible would likely get tricky for anyone. Several industry execs agree. Quoting him here, theoretically, a company or government could attempt to buy a significant amount of Bitcoin, but acquiring all the Bitcoin in circulation is highly impractical, and we still have a significant unreleased supply of Bitcoin. This is quoting the Valkyrie CEO, Leah Wald. Now, Wald noted that Bitcoin supply is capped at 21 million coins, from which 1.4 million Bitcoin are yet to be mined. Quoting her again, Bitcoin's decentralized nature and the fact that many holders might refuse to sell at any price creates a natural barrier against monopoly. Now, Matt Hougan, Chief Investment Officer of Bitwise, another spot Bitcoin ETF applicant alongside Valkyrie, also believes that no one could theoretically establish a monopoly on Bitcoin. Quoting him here, the scarcity principle, a well-established economic principle, tells us that the price of a scarce good will rise to meet demand. In other words, if someone tried to corner Bitcoin, the price would rise and rise and rise as more and more reluctant sellers were met. However, he also conceded that someone could still corner a significant amount of Bitcoin. BlackRock. Now, Jan 3 CEO Samson Mow echoed Hougan's stance, expressing confidence that it would be difficult to buy all the Bitcoin in circulation due to the extremely high prices fueled by products like a spot Bitcoin ETF. Quoting Samson Mow, the price people are willing to sell increases when there are fewer coins available for sale. Good point. Basic supply and demand, stock to flow. And according to Mao, Bitcoin hodlers will have to think hard about whether they should sell their Bitcoin, given the depreciation risks of fiat currencies like the US dollar and the euro. Quoting him again. So as funds buy more Bitcoin and increase their assets under management, it'll become harder and harder to find willing sellers. That's right. And right now, the majority of the Bitcoin supply is in the hands of the long-term hodlers. Where are my long-term hodlers at? Make some noise in that live chat. Despite the high competition among potential spot Bitcoin ETF, these funds are likely to try to buy all the Bitcoin in circulation, according to David Gerard, author of the book, The Crypto Blog Attack of the 50-Foot Blockchain. Shout out Gerard. ETFs are part of using Bitcoin as a dollar derivative. The issuer doesn't care about the cryptocurrencies at all. They care about the dollars they can get from them. Preach. Lots of hodlers have way more Bitcoin than they are actual dollars trying to buy. The markets are thin. And although many industry watchers expect spot Bitcoin ETFs to fuel massive demand and thus potentially affect the Bitcoin price action, some execs like the BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes Just Blaze believe that successful ETFs can completely destroy Bitcoin, as we covered in great detail here on the show. And according to ARK Invest CEO Kathy Wood, some investors might sell on the news a spot Bitcoin ETF approval in the short term. And that's what, what's his name? Mr. Kramer. We inversed everything he says, but even Kramer's like, it's a sell the news event while Bitcoin is here to stay. But anyways, meanwhile, some believe that the potential approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF in the US could have little to no impact on the markets, as multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs have been trading for years in other parts of the world, such as Canada. However, the size of the US capital markets is so large that this comparison may be irrelevant, at least according to ETF analyst Eric Balchunas, and I agree with that. The crypto market has never seen an injection of capital of this potential magnitude, Balchunas and other analysts have predicted. And you can see right here where the money is at. Assets in the trillions. And here, agree on the underestimating of advisors, love and trust of ETFs, as well as the sheer size of advisor assets under management. Here's a chart we use in some of our notes to try to explain this. The hard to get data is via Caruli. if I'm pronouncing that word right, but nonetheless. So there you have it, my fam. Let me know your thoughts on what Alex Jones had to share, and maybe I'll share one more bonus tweet. This is something, quoting Alex Jones, they don't want us to know that there's global BlackRock corporate mafia that wants to control the world and cloaks itself in liberalism and wokeism to give them political cover while they drive us into World War III, devalue our currencies, and just destroy us. So there you have it. And shout out to Zero. I appreciate the super chat. Family, congratulations. O'Hardy. You've just been blessed with the MicroStrategy membership here on the channel. So thanks, Zero, for that one.